Hey you, I'm Sarah Turner. I'm a freelance medical copywriter and a copywriting mentor. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about how you can totally write your way to financial freedom and work from anywhere. It has totally changed my life, this process. Even discovering copywriting changed my life. I had a very memorable conversation where I heard about copywriting for the first time and I was just like, holy crap, I think this is for me. A couple of things I want to clear up because I get asked this question a lot is, do you need certain qualifications? And the answer is you do not. The thing is when you build your business, I always recommend that you are focusing on the value you can bring to your clients and the ways that you can help them and their business grow and be better. And when you are constantly learning and being a forever student and working on your business and honing your craft and delivering value and you don't need qualifications. Your work speaks for itself. Unlike things like coding, where you would need to kind of prove to the person that you actually know what you're doing, with writing, the proof is in the pudding, as I like to say. Somebody can very quickly look at a piece of your writing and know whether or not you can write. So it's a really great entry into financial freedom and the ability to work from anywhere, because somebody can see very quickly whether or not you are who you say you are. So it's also a great thing because people, when you're building your portfolio, one of those portfolio pieces could be something that you totally craft on your own and post to something like Medium. You don't need certifications because honestly, they don't really mean anything. There are a few certifications out there floating around, but at the end of the day, most of your clients are going to be small business owners or even an individual, and they don't know who these organizations are. And quite frankly, some of these organizations are super old school and a little bit behind the times. So I know that kind of goes against everything we've been raised to believe and how degrees are super important. But with copywriting, you really just need to prove it with your own work and your own writing, which is why it's a great entry into entrepreneurship and freelancing. It's great. Love it. So the next thing is I really want to encourage you to focus on one skill. There are other ways that you could work from anywhere. You could become a virtual assistant, or you could focus on social media management. You could be a graphic designer. You could do affiliate marketing. But the thing with those is they're not generally as well paying as copywriting, which is one of the reasons I also love it so much. Social media management is very time consuming and tedious, but clients tend to think that they could do it themselves too, so they don't really see the value in it as much as copywriting. So, and then the same thing with virtual assistants. There are so many on Upwork and Fiverr that generally people kind of look for the lowest rate. They're also looking in countries where people can afford to charge really, really low rates. So really pick a skill when you're starting out and focus on it. But that means not only focusing on like copywriting, that means getting even more specific, having a niche, or having a particular type of copy that you specialize in. Maybe it's email marketing or landing pages. When you get really specific, people sometimes think, oh my gosh, if I get so specific, I'm going to miss out on job opportunities. But that's not really the case, because most people want to work with and hire an expert. It's just like how you wouldn't go to the doctor, you'd rather, if you have something wrong with your heart, you wouldn't want to go to a generalist. You want to go to a heart doctor because you want the expert in your industry. And the thing about picking a niche is it gives you focus early on. So you can find your ideal clients better. You can, you can learn the material, learn the audience, and then you become an expert. I regularly get people asking me to write copy for their industry. For some reason, it's a lot of lawyers. But I always tell them, you know what? I'm not the best person to write your copy because I am not familiar with your audience, nor am I familiar with your little world of marketing. I mean, I could do it. I could do the research. I could write great copy because, as a copywriter, you're a researcher. And I know I could, but it would take me far more time. So really get focused. Get focused on what career choice you're going to make. And if it's copywriting, get focused on who you're going to serve. What does your ideal client look like? And that will allow you to, over time, become an expert in your industry. And you don't always have to have a very specific niche to start. You can start with something really general, like e-commerce. And then as you go, maybe you're like, oh, I want to work with sustainable brands, or I want to work with beauty products or fashion. So you can start a little bit broad and you can get more and more narrow. But the more narrow you get, the better. Because if you're speaking to everyone, you're actually speaking to no one. This is something that I really want people to take to heart. So when I see people who are like, I'm a copywriter and a graphic designer and a virtual assistant, especially if that's all on one website, what that tells me is they're not really an expert in any one thing. And when I hire someone, I want somebody who is an expert, and your clients are going to want them too. So the other thing is like, kind of what should you expect when you're first starting out as a writer, right? So one of the things that I'm always asked is, what are my first 3 months going to look like? What are my first 6 months going to look like? Well, really the first thing you should do is focus on building your craft, or, honing your craft, getting really good at that. And it really doesn't take very much, 30 minutes a day will take you so far. That's 15 hours a month. Or an hour a day, that's going to be 30 hours a month. Just setting aside some time in your day to really focus on developing your skill. Then the next step is starting. The thing about writing is you can read all the books, watch all the YouTube videos, do all the hand copy and copy, but at the end of the day, you're not going to get better until you actually start writing. And you know what? One of the things I love about copywriting is I've always had this dream that one day I would write a book. And I really love what I'm doing because I know that I'm just bettering my craft, because practice is truly the best thing you can do to get better at this whole thing. So actually writing. So you know what? Take a few jobs when you're first starting out as portfolio pieces, maybe on job boards. My recommendation is to usually look around you and see who you know who has a small business that might need your help. Maybe it's a photographer, maybe it's somebody in your family, maybe it's a friend or a friend of a friend. We all know business owners. There's no one here that doesn't know somebody who is a business owner who needs copy. Maybe they have a store that's a brick and mortar location. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's all online. But start reaching out. Also, start telling people what you're doing, because you never know what opportunities will come back to you. People are continuously surprised. My students are continuously surprised. One of them has a really awesome story about how she reached out to her wedding vendors. She had just gotten married, told them what she was doing, and she wrote for her wedding vendors. That's a great way to start. So start building that portfolio, and after you have a few pieces and you're really rolling, you can start reaching out and taking on more and more clients. And I really recommend cold email because you get to choose and hand select the people you want to work with. But obviously you can just do some job board searches. I just really don't recommend hanging out there for very long because it's generally a race to the bottom, and it's not a great way to build a sustainable client base that is going to have people coming back, because usually those people are looking for rock bottom prices. Not always, but sometimes. So, and then just start doing it. Start putting yourself out there. Something that I always remind people is, like, when you send a cold email, if you get a no, that's not really a real rejection. What it tells you is there's something to be looked at and to work on, but also usually most of the time it has absolutely nothing to do with you. You have no idea what's going on their side of the computer screen. They don't know you, and you don't know what's going on. Maybe there is a bunch of stuff going on in their business. It could be a million different things. So there's no need to take it personally. And it's also part of the process. We're really lucky to live in a time where we can be writers pretty easily. Back in the day, when you wanted to be a writer, you had to send out like physical copies to multiple places and get rejections in the mail. Like, it took forever. There were just not nearly as many opportunities as there are today because of the internet. So it's a really awesome time to be a writer, and we're really lucky. So hang in there. That's generally what to expect. There are other options for financial freedom. The internet has changed the job landscape tremendously. So if you are stuck in a 9-to-5 and you want to work from anywhere and you want financial freedom and you want to crush through that glass ceiling, there are options. Copywriting happens to be an awesome one. Obviously, as a copywriter myself, I'm a little biased, but hang in there. There's so many choices in this world. Go ahead and hit thumbs up if you like this. That tells me you want to see more videos about things like this, like financial freedom. And don't forget to subscribe, because I will be sending out videos every single week. And always leave comments. Tell me what you want to hear more about. I respond to each and every one of them. And I look forward to hearing from you.